Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Welcome back. We were just talking about the promises that Donald Trump made, the promises that we've seen him keep in just really the first 3 days. And of course, some of those go back to when he was president-elect, already starting to unravel NAFTA at that point in time. On Friday, when he was first inaugurated, we saw the White House website change, and immediately all of the information about climate change, which he didn't agree with and which I don't agree with, that was all taken down. So we've seen some very positive steps moving very quickly. But of course, there are some concerns that still remain as we see some of his cabinet level picks. And we see Steve Mnuchin now, who previously said that he didn't think that there were too many IRS agents in spite of the army of IRS agents that were added for Obamacare. Now he is backing an independent Federal Reserve and signaling that he doesn't think that reform is a priority. In other words, should we audit the Fed? Nah, he says. And as this is reported by Bloomberg, they say the response appears to lean against legislation such as the Fed Oversight Reform and Modernization Act of 2015, introduced by the House of Representatives last year but did not become a bill. Many people believed and are still hoping, as Donald Trump talked about auditing the Fed, that we have the best chance we've ever had of getting that passed. And I think as we look at this, the comments even that Bloomberg said was that he doesn't want to make waves at this stage. So our hope is that this is simply Mnuchin trying to be non-controversial so that he can get in and do the real deal. But it still is worrying to see that. Nevertheless, we've seen nothing but positive signs in terms of the actual executive orders that Donald Trump has taken. And of course, one of those today was the move against sanctuary cities, saying that they were going to not send federal funds to cities that are involved in this. And of course, just the 12 largest cities that are involved as sanctuary cities have 20% of illegal immigrants here. Or let's just put it this way, foreign citizens who are here illegally getting services. Now, this is not going to happen in Texas without a fight. Governor Abbott has thrown down the gauntlet here, and the Travis County Sheriff has taken it up. So we have a fight developing right here in Travis County that is going to have national implications. As the local station here, KView, pointed out, Abbott is seeking laws to remove the sheriff after ICE detainer policy announcement. They say days after the Travis County Sheriff, and she was just newly elected, Sally Hernandez, released a video detailing her policy concerning U.S. immigration and customs enforcement. Governor Greg Abbott here in Texas said Wednesday he will seek new laws that will remove her from office. Now, what is she saying she would do? She said she will cooperate with ICE if the people who are here illegally, already breaking that law, commit capital murder, if they're charged with capital murder, or if they're charged with aggravated sexual assault, or the smuggling of persons, okay, and actually the continuous smuggling of persons. So if they're involved in multiple armed robbery, no. Robbing banks, no. If they kill people with drunk driving, that would not be a capital murder charge. That'd be manslaughter. No, they're not going to give them to ICE, even if they do it multiple times. If they're involved in egregious battery, no, not so much. If they're a gang member, we don't care. We're going to leave them here. Now, what Abbott has said is that, of course, the Texas legislature only meets every other year. They're now in session. He's going to seek legislation that would include civil and criminal penalties for any official that is creating a sanctuary city. He said that they're working on laws that will, one, ban sanctuary cities and remove from office any office holder who promotes sanctuary cities and impose criminal penalties as well as financial penalties. He went on to say, it is a dangerous game of political Russian roulette with the lives of Texans at stake. Now, of course, one of the places where sanctuary cities are the most popular is California. As a matter of fact, we could say California is not a sanctuary city, but a sanctuary state. And of course, there is a growing movement in California of people who would love to secede from the United States. We've even heard people give it the name CalExit. As to that, I would just say, how can we help you do that? Now it has jumped up to 1/3 of the people in the most recent poll from Reuters saying that they would like to secede from the United States. Now, this is a big increase from 2014 when the same poll found 20% of the people would support secession. Now that's up to 32%. And they point out that with 39 million residents, it is the 6th largest economy in the world. So maybe California wants to go it as a nation state. Maybe they would like to join Mexico. Maybe they'd be more comfortable doing that. Wired magazine points out that if they want to do that, there's a couple of problems. Even though California is one of the wealthiest of the states, even though they are very large in terms of their economy, they also are reliant for their massive welfare state on subsidy from the federal government. They say California has some pretty ambitious laws. They give undocumented immigrants driver's licenses. They let them attend public universities at the expense of the state and the taxpayers there. It provides millions of people with health care, and it has some of the most ambitious climate regulations on the planet, and all of this costs money. And so when you look at this and you say California is very wealthy, they don't have to worry about this, remember the example of Detroit and Michigan in general. That was just a couple of decades ago the center of the American economy. That was where most of the wealth was created, just as now that has moved from Motown to Silicon Valley. But we saw these same Democrat policies destroy Michigan's economy, especially Detroit, and it will do the same thing here. So I would say if they don't want to leave, maybe we can throw them out. Or maybe we can leave the United Nations. If there's not going to be a CalExit, maybe we can have an AmExit. And as we pointed out before, a bill has been introduced to get the United States out of the United Nations. This is H.R. 193. Make sure you look at this and promote this, the American Sovereignty Restoration Act. This is a bill that's been introduced into Congress. And Zero Hedge had an interesting article, and they pointed out that essentially if the U.S. reclaimed sovereignty from the UN, it would be the equivalent of what Britain did by reclaiming its sovereignty from the European Union times 10. And I say perhaps the biggest revelation that would come out of this would be the exposure to the level of theft and fraud so that people can understand that if we leave this registered corporation in the United Nations, and it is a corporation, that it would also move the U.S. back to common law and away from maritime law. So take a look at that Zero Hedge article. It has the references to what maritime law is. As we look at moving out of these globalist power structures, understand Germany is still angry about Brexit, and they want to push back every way they can against Donald Trump.
In case you haven't heard, Infowars has become the most influential media outlet in America. We're making freedom go viral. And now we are proud to announce a new weapon in the epic battle against the globalists. Infowars Prime, where you can watch live high-definition feeds of The Alex Jones Show, plus exclusive insider videos from the Infowars crew and behind-the-scenes action. Go to Infowars.com/app and download today. Infowars Prime is available right now for your iPhone or Android. You will have access to exclusive videos that you can't see anywhere else. And that means live coverage of events and breaking news on location as it happens. You can also take advantage of amazing deals from the Infowars store that are only available for Infowars Prime subscribers. That's Infowars Prime at Infowars.com/app. If you can hear my voice, you are the resistance.